Within 15 feet of the mouth of the cave, I see this beautiful burgundy-colored thing standing near the opening. It was smooth, with no feathers, and a large horn out the back of its head. I could see that as it was pulling meat off a fish, its beak was making the tapping noise I heard. I, being a complete idiot, decided to see how close I could get to it. It turned around and stared right at me. It walked a little ways back in the cave, ran forwards, and flew off." Unquote. People don't want to believe in the possibility that there are modern pterosaurs or live pterodactyls in the world. I can understand that. I mean, I've been through that situation myself late in the 1960s regarding a sighting report from Altadena, California here. I might have been exposed to some idea about a modern pterosaur in some part of the world at some time in the distant past, but not to what I heard from this young lady, this girl from the high school, a friend of my younger sister's, who said she saw a giant pterodactyl flying up into the mountains. It's just a few miles north of where we live. It was just something I couldn't believe at the time. I thought, this is impossible. That girl is crazy. How can she think that she saw a giant pterodactyl flying up into the mountains above her house? It's just, it's too much. I couldn't handle it. I wasn't ready for that. Well, fast forward a few decades, and I'm getting into my, at least into my middle-aged years, if not into my older years, and my sister reminded me that. Now, by this time, I had been studying for the past 18 years from now, which is 2022. At least 18 years I've been studying this phenomenon that people all over the world are reporting modern pterosaurs. Pterodactyls is usually the word they use. Sometimes flying dinosaur, robin we call them, if they have a long tail. But now I had to make a phone call to this lady who's not young anymore, decades later, and apologize until I believe her. I'm willing to listen to her. So I know what it's like to be a skeptic and just say, oh, it's impossible. That there's a modern pterosaur, close to where I live. This is too much. Was it a pterodactyl with a wingspan of 30 to 40 feet? Where did it come from? The sighting was in Mexico in the year 2000, near a village 15 miles southwest of Puerto Vallarta. This year, the man went alone to Mexico, and on the second day in the village, climbed a cliff with thick jungle everywhere, from the mountains to the ocean. Quote, "A huge black bird-like creature came from the more mountainous region and flew toward the ocean, its total wingspan about 30 to 40 feet." Unquote. He's not the only eyewitness to report a living pterodactyl in Mexico.
So today I have with me Frank, and he's going to tell you about something that happened when he was fishing.
And my two cousins, they're like my brothers, my best friends. In 1984, and I'm 24 years old at the time, and this black shadow goes past us, and we looked at each other and said, "What was that?" And I don't know. All of a sudden, that black shadow comes straight down on top of us, very prehistoric. The only thing I can tell you is that it was a pterodactyl and it was nothing else. It